Hey, welcome back, everybody. Time for the inaugural episode. A show I think you're going to really enjoy. PATELECAST. You've heard of telecast. Now we got a PATELECAST. The science, soul, and the space between. With Dr. Neal H. Patel, prominent practitioner, geriatric doctor here in Orange County, who's going to talk about all that and more about as we age and longevity and what he integrates into his practice here. Welcome to the show, Dr. Neal H. Patel.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. Great to be here.
We had you as a guest on another show, Health Talks, and we decided this is too cool. We're going to split this off because you're too cool. Not just because you're young, but because you have a young approach to medicine, which is, I understand it. Tell me if I've got this right. You got all the credentials and the degrees. You're a real doctor in geriatrics, patients like any other geriatric practice here, which is what? Basically older people, right? You're dealing with. And all the diseases and problems and conditions that come about as we get older. But you integrate, that's the key word these days, you integrate other ideas, maybe even practices from your culture. You're Indian, so you listen to Indian Ayurvedic. And you're young and cool, so you talk about cannabis and psilocybines and other sorts of things. You're open to other alternatives other than pills and procedures. Is that correct?
That is absolutely right. So, yes, I am a board-certified family medicine physician. And like you said, I have my private practice here. And
which is where?
It's in the city of Orange.
Okay.
And I'm very big on just helping people help themselves. And I grew up with the philosophy that I personally believe fewer pills, fewer doctors, fewer procedures, the better. And I think that anything that can help.
Let me just stop you right there. That's counter to your financial health as a physician. I'm supposed to see my physician all the time, and he's always prescribing more pills and more procedures to me. And I think somehow, are you doing this because you really believe? I hope you're a good guy. Or are you doing this because there's a certain profit in doing that?
There's really no profit. The biggest way to compliment me is for people to take care of themselves and to help their health. I don't need a compliment. I just want people I truly believe that health is wealth. And the reality is, I tell my patients there's only so much I can take care of people. And I've told my patients that I, at the end of the day, am not technically responsible for your health. That comes as a shock.
That's a harsh statement, because I grew up in an era where my parents thought their doctor was responsible. I don't have to do much. I don't have to exercise, eat. I just go, and my auto mechanic will fix the machine here.
Exactly. That's what usually happens. They say, same thing. I get that all the time. I say, Doc, why am I here? And I say, that's a perfect question. And I just had a patient the other day. They're like, I don't have any issues. And I told her, I said, why don't you wait for your car, the engine light to come on, for the tires to go flat, and then there's steam to come out, and then go to your mechanic. And they said, I'd never do that. Say, why do you wait for your own personal health to do that?
And we've done lots of shows through the years with Chinese traditionals, and I haven't talked much about Indian Ayurvedic, but I know there's a certain similarity to it. Chakras, energies, meridians, or some idea of the energies flowing to the body, and the body can heal itself to a certain degree, maybe to a large degree. What I also hear in a difference between Western and Eastern practices is when you go, somebody said, you fire your doctor if you get sick in China, because they weren't preventing it. They weren't helping you avoid it. But here, oh, thank goodness I got a doctor. The tire blew up. The engine blew up. So go fix it. We only think of it as afterwards. I don't think of the doctor being involved in helping me to prevent disease. It's only to fix it. Am I correct?
That philosophy is so different between Western and Eastern kind of medicine. Western, a lot of symptom management. Mm-hmm. We never get to the root cause, or when people come in and say, I feel sick, or I have this, and they say,
pain,
fix me, fix me. Then I'm like, wait, what is causing it? So that's really it. And then, of course, in Eastern medicine, the goal is maybe more they lean towards the body can help heal itself. Mm-hmm. And for us, we're like, no, we're powerless. We must ask a doctor. We must take a prescription pill. We must see that prescription on TV is going to cure us of every problem. And they basically are forfeiting their own personal power.
Yeah.
And that really, it makes me sad, because the body's incredible, the mind is incredible, and I really want to empower my patients to really take that power back.
And you said something, I was introducing you to somebody outside the studio here earlier, and they were talking about their experience. Another person does a show here on pancreatic cancer and her experiences in that world. And she said, we're always trying to tell people to find a team. You said, well, that's where I'm from. I'm not your Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy. I don't work. How did you say that? I don't work.
Right.
I work with you, not for you? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so I basically said I have a lot of patients of all ages. Of course, I see mainly geriatric patients.
Why are you pointing at me when you say that?
Oh, I guess I'm just, maybe it was a subconscious thing, natural thing.
Old guys like you, I see. Yeah.
No, you seem younger than your age. So, but I get a lot of patients that are like, hey, I'm here. And I tell them the same thing. I say, look, I want to help you as a team, but I am not your spouse and I am not your mom. So you are responsible. I will meet you where you need me to meet you at. And I always cater my approach to their motivation and their own understanding of their health conditions. Because I can tell them, go eat rice cakes and go exercise 30 minutes, and they may not comprehend or process any of that. So that's pretty much pointless.
Or listen to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do see it as more of teamwork and not Mr. Fix-It. You're not the electrician I call when the lights go out. You might be, but that's not your sole job, is to just get the lights back on.
Oh, no, I'm the electrician, plumber, IT support, I'm all of it. But realistically, my goal is to troubleshoot before you have to call me. And my goal is just, I'll fix whatever problems, but I'd rather have my patients try to help themselves fix it first, because so many times it's so easy to be like, oh, I got a scratch, I got a stomach ache, what do I do? Call doctor. It's like a it's like a reaction versus, wait, maybe let me think, what may I have done? What can I do to help myself before jumping to plan B? I'm always here.
And to avoid that happening again. Maybe I'm
Exactly.
not exercising, maybe not eating, maybe I'm not paying attention to the symptoms, I'm not addressing the underlying cause or root problem. But how do you get to the underlying root cause when you got 5 minutes or 15 minutes in front of a patient? Because that's all you get compensated for. And at an assembly line, I got 12 more waiting out in the wings here.
I'm in a very unique position. That is the reason I have a private practice, because I knew that, unfortunately, truly believe that 99.9% of all healthcare providers who go into medicine and they want to help people. I don't think they go into medicine and say, oh, I can't wait to have 5 minutes to shoo my patient out of the room after one little thing.
And I'm going to make so much money.
And so much money. I think what happens is the system basically sets them up to either become bitter or sometimes for failure. So I was very grateful at a young age. I had that perspective or that realization. So I left. I wasn't never working for anybody in a sense, but I've been in private practice for 5 years, and I was about 30 when I started. And
that's unusual. And
unusual.
And let's just talk about the reality of medicine today. It is so expensive to graduate with a medical degree. I've had doctors come in here and say, I'd love to have a private practice, but I got to get paid first. Right. I can't develop a practice. I can't invest in a practice until I pay off this debt.
And that's a huge part. And for me, I was very fortunate. I took over a practice. I always tell people who are interested, I said, why do you want to build a car? The car is running, the engine's on. A lot of the older generation of doctors are retiring, so why don't you just step in the car and drive it? Yeah. But I think sometimes now the new generation, even from my own friends, they're like, I don't want to deal with the administrative work. Oh, the lights are out. I don't want to deal with it. The computer's not working. To each their own, but for me, I
design the office I want. I'm going to pick the location. I'm going to make it close to my house or wherever.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with those kind of problems per se than have to worry about, oh, I cannot practice the way I want and I'm basically cheating my patients, because I would never want to be in my patient's shoes and go to a doctor and be like, hey, you got 5 minutes, good luck otherwise, and here's a pill and don't talk to me. Like, I would be
And they start asking questions about, what about, I read about this about health, or I've read about this about drug interactions, or I've read about this about, do you think it is helpful to do Indian Ayurvedic or yoga, cannabis, or any other sorts of things? And they're like, not only do I not know about that, I don't have the time.
Exactly.
Time's up.
Yeah, the time is up. We're on a shot clock, and it's crazy. This is not a basketball game. We are not on a shot clock. This is somebody's life clock.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not trying to rush my patients out, and I just, whenever my patients come into my office, my goal is always to answer their questions and for them to leave knowing that they either learned something or they understood their condition better. Because otherwise, I feel like, what's the point of my job? Like, my job description is not to go through medical school just to prescribe pills and say good luck.
You're not a pharmacist.
No, I'm not. And I just don't believe that that's what I'm really here for, just to be like, okay, good luck, see you later.
How about spending time after the visit? It used to be a doctor would say, let me get back to you. I don't know. You might have, I better look into this. There's more to it than this. This is continuing. Let me do a little research. Let me talk to somebody else. I'm not saying nobody does that, but that's hard to do, again, on an assembly line. And the system says, I may not compensate you for that extra time here. I'm compensating you for the visit. I don't know if they do they compensate you, Medicare?
Yeah, I take insurances, of course. For me, I've truly believed that, number one, don't go into medicine if you're trying to make money, okay? Really, overall, okay? I'm very grateful.
And I'm sorry to say it, but many of us are civilians, or people on the outside suspect that's one of the big motivators.
Right.
They're going to make a bunch of money.
Exactly. If you want to go into pharmaceuticals or insurance side, right, 'cause that's really where everybody's going towards for the money. But for me, like I said, the reason I got into private practice was because I wanted to practice freely and I don't have time constraints. And then number two, I can basically help guide them on my time. And I'm a true believer. Look, money is important. To me, money is not a material thing. It's an energy. And I always believed I never chase the money. I do good work. If I do good work and I can sleep with myself at night, the money will follow.
That's back to that flow of energy and positive energy and all this stuff, which seems to have a certain foundation. What's your background? Where did you grow up here? Are your parents from? From India?
Yeah, so my parents grew up in India. They moved here like a long time ago in the 80s. I'm born and raised in Southern California. I did all of my school, including undergraduate medical school and my residency in Southern California. I worked all different types of jobs, and I got a real taste of the healthcare system because I wanted to explore it myself.
And where did you go to school?
I went to UC Irvine for undergrad, Zot. So Zot to everybody out here. And then my medical school was at Western University, which is in Pomona. It's a DO school. And then my residency was in downtown LA at California Hospital Medical Center. And I did my family medicine residency there for 3 years.
And let's talk about DO, Doctor of Osteopathy.
Correct.
And when I was a kid, they were the alternative guys. And I grew up in the Midwest. Some of them weren't recognized, or even though it's medical school, but it's medical with what? Another idea, because they do some manipulations and some other things?
Yeah. The technical, at this very moment, like today's day and age, 2025, there really is no difference in the sense that we go through the same level of rigorous training. We have to take the same board exams, and we are fully certified physicians. Like my friends are ER surgeon or ER doctors. I have a DO friend who's an orthopedic. I have a pain management DO friend. We're the same level.
My mother's doctor, my late mother, she believed deeply in DO. She said, I don't know what about them, but I just like them better. But we grew up in the Midwest, and they were a little kooky. They weren't necessarily real accepted. I don't know if they still are, if that still exists. Because there is a different element to your training, which is what?
The different element was that when we go through our medical school, we do the standard medical education, but we are required, I want to say we took about 400 hours of musculoskeletal like manipulation.
Right.
So like labs where we you got back pain, let's twist your body in a certain way, let's try to find the location, let's adjust it a certain way. And
so not chiropractic.
Correct. It's more a little bit like muscle release, but the whole point was DOs, their philosophy is treat the whole body, treat the whole patient.
That's the key.
And and the body has the power to heal itself. So their philosophy was already ingrained in that, and I'm very fortunate because I grew up with that philosophy before I even set foot in a medical school.
Where did you come from? A line of physicians?
My last name is Patel. You may have heard of Patel.
Sorry to make a judgment, but it seems like there's an awful lot of Indian doctors today here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have got a lot of cousins. My direct family, my older sister is not a physician. She's a pharmacist, but I have 4 other first cousins who are all doctors, and I know all types of doctors and Patels and you name it. But yeah, my parents weren't doctors either, but for me, I just I grew up in that culture, an Indian culture, where we were very anti-medicine. We try to avoid it, and my mom was big on herbs and remedies and helping your body just heal itself, giving it a chance to fight and help.
And that's where I'm at. I didn't grow up in an Indian family, but I grew up, I think I'm typical of the aging baby boomer who welcomes the fact that you can replace my knee in Western medicine or give me some revolutionary treatment with $1 million machine. Hooray. And that has extended my life. But if that's all you got, I'm worried about the pills and the procedures. That's my last step. what else you got before I take that severe thing and go in and cut myself open and cut something out, or just mask the problem? That's my always problem with pill. Okay, so I can cope with it. It'll take the pain away. We've all seen what that did. Billions of dollars being paid out to opioid settlements and stuff because they passed them out like candy. But it didn't get to the problem. Why does my back ache? Why does my stomach hurt? Why am I have no energy? And most of the time they go, I don't know, take a pill.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate because that's actually something I want to work on. It's because when we go to medical school, that's what we learn as medicine, pharmaceuticals. Now they're finally actually starting to put integrative things. Actually, UC Irvine is doing a great job.
Huge.
They have culinary medicine.
Susan Samueli.
Yep, integrative health.
The billionaire's wife who started Broadcom Chips, one of the founders of that. And apparently, I've never met her, but apparently she believes in this integrative approach, East and West. They have acupuncture and other things as part of their practices.
Yeah, they have a UCI, I think medical school has a cooking, like an integrative cooking. And so they're incorporating not at a doctor level, but medical school. And actually last Thursday, I went to the grand opening of UCI Medical Health Center right here in Jamboree. They're incredible. I got to see their patient menu for food. And all the ingredients are grown within a 300-mile radius.
Really?
Very amazing.
So it's interesting. We do a show, and I'm riffing on something else. We do a show with a famous chef here, Chef Pascal. Had a restaurant for 25 years. He's now semi-retired. He teaches culinary arts at Saddleback. And he himself had cancer. So he went to UCI. And he just says, wonderful program, wonderful doctors. But one of the things that amazed him is wonderful food. And using food as medicine, because he's used to the idea hospital food is bland and tasteless and not that great. It might have the right combination of health ingredients, but yuck. And their new brochure, which they just sent me, because we're on the campus of UCI here, it was all about, we want to use food as part of the recovery program.
It's about time. Actually on my social media on Instagram, I posted the picture of their menu so you can check it out. And actually when I went, they had like samples of the food. And so food is a very simple pleasure, especially when you're in a hospital and you're at your most vulnerable state. Sometimes the only comfort we have is food. Right. And so it's so important.
And the psychological aspect of recovery. If I'm down, if I'm depressed, if I'm disassociated, I got to get home where I'm comfortable and I can heal better. More and more people believe that.
Yeah, and food is a very powerful thing because it's one of the few things in life you can use all 5 senses to experience. So it's a very intimate experience as a human.
How about that?
Yeah.
So food and health and diet and maybe alternative ideas and East meets West. But you even practice things that really sound out to me. You deal a lot because you lecture at Alzheimer's organizations here, and the patients there are always talking about cannabis and things like that, and even the new, dare I say it, psilocybin, what I grew up thinking magic mushrooms and stuff here. They're using them in serious psychological studies and in serious medicine again, which is what people thought they were a million years ago, and then they turned into my era, the counterculture, and just fun and abuse and whatnot here.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like, I have to make it very clear for the audience, I am a doctor. I am not your doctor. So this is purely educational. I get that all the time.
Exactly.
And so I have to make it very clear that anything you decide to look into, please do it properly. Consult your physician unless you want me to be your doctor, no problem. But the whole point is for me to break that stigma, because I'm personally tired of being quiet about it and just can't talk. This is crazy because there's so much benefit, and like, I will do anything to help my patients. Anything that can help my patient is medicine, and I will explore any option I can.
So anything goes into your body. Could be food, could be something you ingest, could be something you do to your body, manipulating it, could be something you do with your body, could be something, the body itself is part of this recovery process here.
Not even the body, but how much junk do we feed our minds? Positive news, positive thoughts, positive quotes are food for our thoughts, for our minds and our soul, but we actually poison our minds probably more than our bodies nowadays. And that's actually very underlooked.
Well, we could talk about that, and I hope we will someday.
Absolutely.
Because we did a show with, again, on this pancreatic cancer patient who talks about, it's called Living Hope, and listen to it here. And give a shout out to it. Maybe we'll get you on the show someday here. And she had a very well-known cancer researcher who deals with clinical trials and studying stuff. He said, I can't prove a positive attitude changes the outcome, but I won't deal with you if you don't have a positive attitude. I'm not even going to try.
100%. Sometimes I wonder, it's very unfortunate that obviously cancers happen in people, but sometimes I can't help but wonder because I'm like, did they manifest this cancer? Because sometimes cancer is a scream for help from your body because they did not properly regulate their stress or did not manage it. And it finds, and I tell my patients all the time, if you don't let your stress out, it will find its way out. Not in the nice way.
Yeah. Boy, this is just anecdotal. I don't know if there's any studies to proving this, but I'm so in agreement with you here. I think we're living in a world of constant stress, constant fight or flight, constant abuse of our bodies, and we don't eat enough and get sleep enough, and we're just pushing ourselves all the time in a million ways and pushing all this negativity and nastiness into ourselves more than ever these days. Sorry, I don't want to get political, but it's just left, center, everybody's mad. And gee, aren't we the sickest we've ever been?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that's the case. Big
coincidence, yeah.
Is it exactly? What is a coincidence? We can talk about that all day, about the food supply and all that. And I realize, look, I'm not here to bash on anybody. The medical system is very important still. I just want people and doctors too to just open their eyes, because it is our obligation at the end of the day to know what's going on with medicine, and it's our responsibility to do everything we can to help our patients versus being closed off in a box and saying, oh, I can't do this and that because there is no double-blinded studies. Like, how does that work? If I meditate, we talked to somebody earlier, which is, she's very smart, but who's going to study meditation in that sense? Because there's no money in it, unfortunately. But how much power is in there?
And I can't patent meditation.
You can't patent it. It's free. Usually the tools I give my patients are free. Fasting. I told my patient earlier.
A whole nother one, yeah.
Today. Nice guy, 75-year-old male gentleman, very nice, barely takes medicine, healthy as a horse. What did he say? I feel tired. I feel fatigued. He said, I'm really stressed. I said, I guarantee you're stressed. I challenged him. I'm always busy. And I asked him, what do you do when you're stressed? He said, I keep myself busy. I go do something else. I try to distract myself. And I said, you know what? I challenge you to stare at a wall for 5 minutes and do nothing.
Wow.
Just stare at a wall. I guarantee that'll be the most uncomfortable experience you may ever have.
Clear your mind of all those thoughts and all that little monkey brain, little squirrel cage racing through your head here.
Forget body constipation. We are mentally constipated.
Mentally constipated.
Like crazy.
Wow.
And we need to let it out because it's going to find its way out.
It's going to find its way out.
It will.
It does, yeah.
And I see it every day. And I told them, forget 5 minutes, just 1 minute. And I said, I personally, the whole thing is when I tell my patients things, I try to practice it myself. I would never, would you trust a doctor who smokes cigarettes and is heavy? You probably wouldn't. There's a lot of those, but at the same time,
there are doctors.
It happens, but I would never tell my patients something if I didn't truly believe it or if I did not practice it myself.
So we're going to practice this here on this new PATELECAST here. I thought, what a clever idea, not just telecast, PATELECAST.
Yeah.
And so in this PATELECAST, can we find a balance between East meets West? Can we find a balance between traditional and non-traditional? Can we open a discussion? You have a very futuristic looking logo here where I expand my mind. That was what mushrooms and all these things are supposed to do in the 60s. Open my mind up, go beyond my biases and my little bit of knowledge, and I can see bigger pictures. I can see connections, all that stuff.
Absolutely. If you
Am I
look,
getting too wild here? Am I sounding too much like the old hippie I am
not
here?
wild enough. Let's put it that way. We're not even touching the surface. So PATELECAST, as it's the science, the soul, and the space between. And I'm trying to fill that space in between, and that's the whole point, because why not?
I've never heard of that. I've always heard that it's a binary system. There's science, there's the body, there's what I know and what I can demonstrate and figure, and then there's faith or soul or whatever. There's this unknown faith dimension to it. There's this other deeper thing that I can't see. They tried to measure when bodies die. Does it lighten up? Was there actually a soul there? Did it go to heaven? Did it go somewhere? Does it continue to exist? All these ongoing spiritual kind of questions, but I never saw anything in between. They seem to be, science and faith are two conflicting approaches to the world.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because what that really does, it just basically limits a person from even exploring something outside of what they may be comfortable with. And
whatever your faith is.
Whatever
I'm
it
an
is.
old Irish Catholic,
Whatever.
but it can be faith in the universe or faith in positivity or faith in something.
Yeah, and like my personal belief is health is we're so body driven. Everything is physical, right? You on social media, everybody's showing off their bodies and their cars and their money, whatever you want to call it. But the reality is, to me, health comes in 4 pillars. It's my goal is to help my patients attain their highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And without any of that, if one of them is lacking, the rest will also lack. So this is I truly feel like this is a holistic way to go. And
that's it. Just stop there for a second, because I see many people focusing on the physical.
Yeah.
There are more and more people saying there's got to be more to it than just money and how I look. So there's a spiritual, there's a philosophy, there's a religion, there's a faith, there's something beyond that, some other meaning, search for meaning, however you want to look at this. I never hear anybody talk about emotional health, and what was the other one?
So it's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health.
And so much, we've all experienced more than ever. I have more mental, I would say illness, that's a horrible way, but stress, challenge.
Right.
We're all on Paxils, we're all on antidepressants, we're all on anxiety medications. The whole world is addicted to stuff. I take some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's something about our mental state that isn't well, and our emotional state, you're sad, you're upset, and gee, I have ulcers, and why can't I get rid of them or something?
Exactly. So it's like
I'm chewing myself up.
And so my goal, I truly feel like I want to guide them into where they need to be, because I've been very fortunate that I think I have a pretty good insight into maybe spirituality myself. I have a lot of time to reflect, and I've done a lot of things to work on myself.
You're a doctor. You have no time for anything.
Well, if you can find time to go bathroom and you can find time to eat, you will make time. So that's what I tell my patients. I never like that excuse. You will make time for whatever you want to use. So for me, I'm always trying to I just want people to feel empowered, because I think we've gotten so comfortable now just giving up our power and say, okay,
Totally.
Doctor will fix me. Oh, I saw that advertisement. Oh, why do I have to wait? Let me take a shot. And then they wonder, wait, why isn't things working? And I say, wait. And then, oh, I'm sick. I have a cold for 2 days. I need antibiotics. I need steroids. I need this. I say, wait, your body
I
is
immediately
built
took
to
the Cold Ease that has the aluminum in it too, because I can't stand 5 days of cold. So
maybe you need to come see me too then, Paul.
Because we all want quick, we all want fast, we all want
Yeah.
instant relief, and we want somebody. I've had to take more responsibility
Right.
for my health. I've had to take, because I didn't get enough answers. I didn't get enough results. And so more and more, but I hesitate. I don't want to know. Just fix it. Just do
Exactly.
it. Just take care of it.
And that's the beauty, right? I have patients. I always gauge them. I'm like, do you really care to know? If not, no problem. I will do what I need to. But if most people, they are curious. And for me, I want to give them like a menu item versus, hey, this is a tasting menu. You only have a set course of procedures and options. No.
Right.
Why don't we choose together the appetizer, the main course, the dessert, everything, and I put as many menu options, and I tell them what they're all about, so we can choose from the menu together in a proper way, because if you don't like something, you can return it and get something else.
And maybe it's a journey. Everybody calls it a journey. These are your health journey. It really is a journey.
It
It's
is.
a journey called my life.
It's life.
And life has its ups and downs. Life has its challenges. Life has its yin and yang. Life has combinations of things that come at you all the time. I can't isolate them and say, my knee hurts, give me a shot, replace it or something, and that's going to fix all of my problems here.
Exactly. And so I'm like I always tell, I'm never anti-medicine. I've never said don't take pills. Or if you got cancer, if you got serious conditions, I'm not saying forego chemo, don't talk.
no.
Like, that's crazy. I would never say that, but why can't we try other things in between? But let's say we come in for back pain. I always tell patients, pills, surgery, procedures, and doctors are never going out of style. They'll always be there.
Yeah.
So what do you really have to lose by trying something else? But most importantly, I tell them, don't you want to give yourself a chance? Do you really going to give up on yourself?
And it's somebody came in years ago they talked about improvisation. They came in from the famous group Second City. And they talked about how they teach corporations this idea of improvisation. So I always thought, I pass this along as a final thought here. Improvisation isn't this or.
Yeah.
somebody walks in, if you watch somebody on the comedy stage and they give me a crazy situation. Guy walks into a room and our Martian comes down and then a dog walks in and you can't say, that's ridiculous. That would never happen. So it's yes and.
Right.
Everything is, okay, yes, and you want me to add to that and add to that? All right, we're going to make a scene where all this crazy stuff comes together. You
Right.
accept these bizarre things that pop up in your life, whereas most of us go, yes, but. Yes, but I don't have time to do. Yes, but I don't know if that works. Yes, but I don't know if I believe that. And so it's always exclusionary, one or the other. And they're saying, why can't it be yes and? That's what I'm hearing. Yes,
exactly.
and.
Why can't it be yes? And for me, medicine, like we talked about, it's an art and it's a science and an art.
It really is. It's a healing art. We don't think of it as an art anymore, which means some inspiration, some creativity, some trial
outside
and error.
the box. And that's the whole point. So if you're an artist, you have fundamental techniques that you use, and that's the science. But no masterpiece is the same. And that's why it's called a masterpiece. So my goal is to create my patients into masterpieces.
And they used to be the healing arts. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Exactly.
Now it's healing science.
Healing science, but it should always be art first because we are art in motion. And I truly believe that there's so much within us.
I look forward to PATELECAST because I've never heard this conversation before. I've felt it. I've heard pieces of it. But you're going to put it together
Absolutely.
and show us the future of medicine, which isn't just one or the other. It's yes and.
Exactly.
All right. Yes and. I look forward more. If they want to find you immediately and to start this journey one-on-one with you, how would they find you?
Yeah, if you want to find me, the easiest way, if you want to know what I'm about, I put on educational videos almost every day. You can follow me on all major social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
And how would they find you?
My name is at Dr. Neal H. Patel. And that's
Neal is N-E-A-L.
Yeah, Neal Patel. And you can
there's
follow
lots
me.
of Neal Patels.
There's a whole bunch of Dr. Neal Patels. And so you can follow me from there if you'd like to make an appointment.
H for health. Is that what you put it?
H for health. That's
H for
right.
help.
H for health, H for help. Exactly. And so you can follow me, and if you like what I'm saying, you can always, we have our website on there, and you can make an appointment.
Okay. But if that is not where you want to start, just tune in. It's free. We're going to talk more with Dr. H. Patel and the PATELECAST and hear about this new approach to modern medicine, which is integrative, which is holistic, which is filled with tradition and alts, and which is, above all else, a conversation that you have with your physician, not them telling you how to fix you or fix for you here. You're part of the journey here, too. So you got to join us and tune in if you want to be part of the journey here. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. H. Patel, on the new show. We look forward to hearing PATELECAST right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.